Welcome back to what I did this week for my music business and can he keep it under 20 minutes? My name is Cato of B.L.A.M.E. Society. That's Black Liberating Arts Movement and Entertainment Society. Today is Sunday, October 19th. Yesterday, October 18th, was the No Kings protest. Shout out to everybody that showed up and showed out for our country. I just wanted to say that. With that being said, man, this is your reminder to subscribe to this channel and also to subscribe to the Cato St. Louis channel. I would appreciate that. We're trying to get 200 subscribers before the end of the year. That is our goal, and I know you can help us make that happen. And if you don't know how to make that happen, what you can do is comment, engage with the content, share the content. All of that stuff helps. All that stuff counts. Make sure you check out the content and material that's on Bandcamp. That's catoofficial.bandcamp.com. You can download some of that stuff as pay what you want. Also, the newsletter goes out next week. I'm not sure what the goodies are going to be just yet. And one more thing before I get into the mastering update. Last week, I had mentioned how I had a session with Damo, and it had been 10 years since I actually recorded his vocals for a mix for a song, right? And the song that was for was a song that was for me, him, and Tyson, and Paris. And I had said that if I found it, I would share it with you. I haven't found it yet, but I did find a brief snippet of Paris's verse that he had laid on that song. And when I was talking about it before, it is fact, he had laid that verse on Perspective. So I will include a link to Perspective in this video, and I will include a link to the snippet. You'll notice that the file name is Russian. Okay. That was basically, I had found a sample back in 2016, 2017, and I chopped it up in many different pieces. And I don't remember what it was called other than it was had Russian in the title. And so that's what the beat was called. It was called The Russian. That's all. So forgive me if anybody recognizes that, what that classical piece is called. Feel free to throw it at me. But anyway, let's jump into it. So the update for mastering goes as such. So if you've been following along, you know that I've reached out to 2 different individuals for mastering so far. The main mastering piece we had was for the album, and then we had a single and multiple versions that needed to be mastered. Matt from Suburban Pro Studios was given UFOs, which is still the untitled name of this track, to master, and he did a phenomenal job. And then when I reached out to him for the different versions, he was like, yo, you should send all of these at the same time. Okay. Now, here's the thing. Yeah. Matt, I hope you see this, and I hope you really do forgive me, bro. And I hope you understand where I'm coming from, right? First of all, I'm not saying this is a new process or anything like that, but it's just I had found this website that did mastering, and for the low too. I think they did a wonderful job, and I know they were human because they responded to emails, right? And they're no longer around. It was called Headroom Mastering. Don't look it up, because if you do, you're not going to find the guys that I had found. It was something else now. But anyway, they gave instructions on how to send them your songs or your files for mastering, but you made sure that you had the mix turned down so that there was room for the mastering itself. Okay, because when they do the master, they raise the volume significantly to max out the room that's in the mix. Okay. So this is the knowledge I'm working with. Okay. So I reach out to Matt, and I asked him how he wanted everything formatted, and I thought I understood. Y'all, I did not understand at all. What happened was I had sent him the original file with all of the things because at first I wanted him to mix it as well. And I wanted to see what that would sound like, to see if that's something I would want to pursue. I preferred my mix. Me and Damo both preferred my mix, but we did enjoy his mastering. And so when I went to send him the other versions, he was like, you need to send everything at the same time. That is the preferred method. The way I sent it to him was, well, at least I thought when I really thought I understood what he wanted. I thought he wanted the instrumental, the acapella, and then those 2 together. So 3 files for 1 song. He took care of it all, and then he hits me back with the email with everything that I asked for, and he's like, "Hey man, you sent me quite a bit of extra files." And I was like, I was struggling. I was like, I really thought I gave you what you wanted this time. Like, I was like, oh man. And so I was like, I'm just gonna call him and just communicate with him and hear it, because sometimes like, so, I'm a strong reader. Okay, I promise, I'm a strong reader. Sometimes things get mixed up. I called him, he didn't answer, but he called me back, and I was like, "Did you get my message?" He was like, "No." I was like, "All right, cool." So we talk about it, and I was like, "Hey, did I, what did I do wrong this time?" Basically, it came down to this: he just wants one file for the song, different version, one file, original, clean, slowed down, straight acapella, straight instrumental, 5 versions. And he was like, "I should only got 5 files." I was like, "Oh, I get it now. I got you." So I was like, "All right, bet." But I don't know how anybody else feels. Artists, musicians, if you out there, please let me know I'm not by myself. People will talk about the same things, but use different terms. I had this issue a while back, right? Where we're talking about the same thing, but we're using different words, which can be confusing. Or we're talking about different things, but using the same words. That is so confusing, right? At least in my system that I use, I would call an echo like a delay. If I want to put an echo effect, I use a delay, right? That's the plugin that I'll use. If I want more air in the vocal, I use reverb, or make it more spacey, or make it less air, less spacey. That's a reverb. Some people might call it something else. And that can be very confusing. So like when you're asking somebody what they want or how they want something formatted for when you deliver it to them, things can get kind of tricky, because some of us are using the same words for different things, or different things for the same words, if that makes sense. Long story short, it's worked out. I know how to send him what he needs now. One file for each version. That's it. That's all I got to do. Me and Damo just got to finish up the paperwork side of things and get it uploaded, and then we'll have a single out soon. Hopefully I'll have a name and a date for you soon. As far as the album mastering, so this one we started handing off to DK Star God, and we started off with the song Running Your Mouth. This song was very tricky, I think, and that's why I gave it to him to start, because I figured if you can make this one sound what I'm hearing, like what I need it to be in the polished aspect, I know we'll be all right. So the issue with Running Your Mouth was that I felt, first of all, the mix was okay, but my vocals were kind of, for lack of a better word, dark, right? Like there wasn't a lot of high end, basically. So listening to DK Star God's music, you'll know he uses a lot of that EQ on that end. And so I was like, okay, let's see what this sounds like. So the first time he sent it to me, sent it back, I was like, okay, bet. He did what I figured he would do. And I liked it because it made my vocals brighter and more lighter. However, what I noticed was that the S sound was too strong. And so I had reached out to him, because this is where whatever video I had brought it up to you guys, I had mentioned that I was like, I'm gonna wait to see what we do with this before I give you an update on this. And so this was the first like hiccup, not even a hiccup, but just like you do adjustments and things. And so I had reached out to him. I was like, yo, I think the high end is great, but I think it's too high. Like it's too much. And I was like, I don't know if that's a you thing or a me thing. And I said, do you need me to go in and put more de-esser on the vocals to make it, to make it less harsh? And he was like, oh no, that's something I can do. So he hit it with a de-esser. He sent it back and it was okay. However, when I got in the car, I noticed it was just too loud, and turned it all the way up, that it started to distort on the higher end. And so I had reached out to him again. I was like, yo, I think what you did is great. I just think it's too loud. And so here's what I like about what DK said. And I'll maybe show a screenshot. But he was just saying, like, usually streaming platforms will turn down the volume on on a song or whatever, on a track. And so it finds the right balance. And I appreciate that info. But, we're not just going straight to streaming. Like I had talked about on here, that we wanted to do physical stuff as well, CDs, tapes, and or vinyl. And that being said, I want to make sure that the volume is on point. he had no issues with it. And so he had made the adjustment and sent it back. I think it sounds great. So that's our update. With that being said, now, so I did the same thing I did with Matt with him. So I had sent him like the regular, I sent him the first version, and then I had sent him the clean version later. And so, but after talking with Matt, I know now I just send everything up front. So I told him moving forward, anytime I send him the track, I'll send him the clean version and the explicit version. I'm hoping that we can get it done, get everything mastered and ready for release before the end of the year. Fingers crossed we get it out before the year is over. If not, don't be mad. Last night, I popped out to an improv show. First time ever. This is totally outside of my scope of expertise. I had no idea what was going on. Okay, for the most part. Let me see. It was called, the show itself is put on by POC Improv League, which POC, we know person of color, but POC also stands for Performing Outstanding Comedy. But the idea is all of the performers were people of color. So I was like, okay, that's dope. Shout out to my boy Jared, aka Clintus. He had invited me out for the September show last month. On that same day, that same night, we had our show at Marshmallow. So I couldn't make it. So I had asked him, if there was one in October. And he was like, yeah, they do this every third Saturday at about 8:00. And it is at the Improv Shop STL on Shoto. And speaking of which, so the way I got there was I got off the highway at Truman and busted a left on Shoto and took Shoto all the way down, basically to like where Kings Highway is. So all the way down Shoto. And when you get up there, there is was it a Jack in the Box? Dang, I can't remember now. I have to look at the map. Anyway, there's a fast food restaurant to the left, and I have to bust a left to get into this parking lot because you see it. And there's like this sign that says, "You're okay, promise." Like, you'll be okay, promise, something like that. And so, but it was just a crazy turn because it's at the light, but you got to turn before the light. And it looks like it looks like a really tight turn because it's also like the exit to a drive-through as you're turning. It's like, am I going the right direction? And so even the person in front of me took forever to make their turn, even though they had plenty of time to turn, because I think they were thinking the same thing I was thinking, which was, am I supposed to turn right here? But anyway, it's a tight turn. You bust the left and it looks like you're going into this fast food place, but instead you bust another left and then you go down this little driveway into the actual parking lot of Improv St. Louis. I go inside, I get to the box office, get a ticket, and then I go in and I'm like 13 minutes late. So they already started. And I was really hoping that there was going to be a delay because of the weather. But just based off of how everything was moving, I think they stay tight on their schedule. So make sure that if you go, be on time. And I'm going to tell you why. Because before every set, the team gets on stage and they take suggestions. If you know anything about improv, you're like, Cato, duh. Okay, I don't know anything about improv, so I didn't know what to expect. And I missed this part, so I had no idea what's going on. They take suggestions from the audience, and based off of that, I guess they like do like a 5-minute banter, if you will. I guess I don't know if they're setting up in their heads what they're gonna do, and then all of a sudden it starts. When I got there, Jared and his team had already started, and I had no idea what was going on. I got the idea that they were in a bookshop, and that's it. And and it was a funny moments, man. Especially like when they're coming up with this stuff on the spot, and it's like it's freestyling but comedy. You know what I mean? And one of the things I asked all of these team members, I want to say I asked, except for one team, I asked them like, how often do you guys rehearse for this? Because I'm like, and how do you rehearse for this? And the dude was like, I think his name was Raul. He was like, it's like basketball, right? Like you have rehearsal, you practice, and you do drills, and then you have the game. I was like, nah, it's not like basketball. I was like, basketball, we scrimmage, bro. Like we actually play. But I'm joking. I was joking when I said that. Like I totally understand the reference, and it made sense how you said that. Even though you can't practice the material, you practice how you work together as a team. And I think that is phenomenal that people do that. Jared's team consisted of 3 people. His team was called Late Night Diner. I want to say each set was about 20 minutes or so. And once you like immerse yourself in it, it is just nonstop hilarity. Like every small detail, everything they do is funny. And I want to say it was just a stage and I think 2 chairs up there. And so, they get creative. Like even like I want to say there was one, I don't know if I recorded it, but there was one moment where one of the teammates was wiping off a window, right? And this is hilarious to me because it was just like, how do you come up with this? She's cleaning a window, or pretending to, and the other 2 are standing back looking, and she stops and they looks like, is it clean? And it's like, it's cleaner. Like, like it's not clean, but it's cleaner. And like they do this for I don't know how long, right? And it just gets deeper than that. They become her parents, and like the way they develop a story on the spot that makes you laugh is amazing. So I appreciate Jared for inviting me to see him and his team do their thing. So after Late Night Diner came Where It's At. And so this team was all guys. I think it was like 5 of them. And the suggestion from the audience was Toys R Us. And one guy starts talking about his experience of like walking through the store and then like noticing the girls aisle, if you will, and how pink it was, and like the shame and the heat that you felt if you look at it. And it's like, you can't look at it because you're a boy. And they took this idea and a couple other ideas like, forgive me because I know I'm gonna say these wrong. Little Pet Shop and is it Polly Lockett? Something like that, I think. And they tie all these things together to create like sketches, if you will, like right on the spot. And it was amazing. And I laughed a lot. Like I laughed a lot. Y'all ain't gonna lie. Like, I think the first one they started was like, it was like Barbies versus G.I. Joes, and like how it's like not even about them, it's about the kids and how they should be working together. It was incredible, bro. Last team to go up was called Whatever. And this team was four ladies. Their suggestion was opera. And so everything that they did was based around singing, dancing, even like competitions and things like that. And it was just hilarious because like their banter it got crazy. One of the first ones to speak, I would say, she had made a statement saying like being loud is how you get the most attention. And so like they gradually all like go to a cacophony of noise, and it's ridiculous, dog. And it was hilarious. And so all of that to say, man, it was just an amazing experience. I definitely want to try to pop out again for the next one. They're not going to have one in November, but they will have one in December, I believe. So I'm going to definitely try to pop out to that. Shout out to Brandon. I think he was the host that evening. I think I asked him, does he host all of the POC improvs, or was this just the only one for him? I think he said they rotate, and he gave me more details, y'all. And I ain't gonna lie, I forgot. So don't be mad because Cato forgot his notebook, so I couldn't write anything down. But I will say, for more information, make sure y'all check out Improv Shop STL on Instagram and or on Facebook, because I know they post at least enough information to where you can, get the info you need to stay in the know. But overall, it's just a cool night, man. I didn't eat anything because I always eat dinner before I go out. Like I eat with my family before I go out to these places and things like that. So, but I will say whatever they had on the menu, which maybe I'll post a picture of the menu, it was smelling good because they were bringing the food in. It smelled really good. I think we can wrap it up. I was trying to keep it under 20 minutes for sure tonight. That being said, if nobody has told you that they love you today, just know that I do, and I always will. Again, I'm Cato of B.L.A.M.E Society. That's Black Liberating Arts Movement and Entertainment Society. And I'll see you guys next week. Yo, I just saw this and I needed to let you know. So Loop City Slums, who hosts Spin It Up, they finally uploaded the review that they did for Wrong One, which is Sasha, Monique, and Cato on YouTube. So I'm gonna have a link to that in the video as well. Make sure you check that out, bro. If you haven't checked it, because I know trying to get to X or Twitter can be a hassle. So make sure you check it out on YouTube. I got the link in the description.